The Interceptor class of starfighters are some of the most fun ships to fly in Star Wars Squadrons, yet also some of the most difficult to use effectively in fleet battles. With very high damage output matched with an extremely small health pool, these interceptors are essentially the glass cannons of the Star Wars universe. What's up, you guys? I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and today we're going to be discussing how to use the Interceptor class more effectively in fleet battle. It's honestly a huge change of pace from the objective focus role I usually play in fleet battles, and all of the little skills and tricks we're going to talk about in this video are things I've personally had to work on improving to be able to bring you this content today, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we get into the actual skills, kind of philosophy of being an interceptor, we're going to talk about the loadouts I use. For the TIE, we're taking standard laser cannons, which, if you didn't know, have an incredibly high max DPS, actually higher than the rapid fires, which only have a 666 DPS as opposed to 681 of the standards. I'm going to take the emergency repair system for my one component, and then the targeting jammer for the other component. Which one you have it in, left or right, totally up to you. But we are not actually taking any damage dealing components, because we're going to need those to keep ourselves alive. We're going to use chaff particles, the dampener hull to make it more difficult to lock onto myself, and just a standard engine. If you want something a little bit different, that's up to you. For the A-Wing, it's going to be almost an identical loadout with the standard laser cannons, but you can choose the rapid fire for the A-Wing if you like, because there's actually a higher DPS on the A-Wing's rapid fires as opposed to the TIE fighters. The other big difference on the A-Wing is the fact that it has shields which I can recharge, and this allows me to replace the repair kit with a quick lock missile. This makes up for that smaller DPS of the standard laser cannons, allows me to maintain that 1,000-meter attack range, and I think that's very important to be able to do. That's just my own personal preference. Now, when it comes to actually using the interceptors in battle, target priority is huge. Your first priority should be taking out enemy objective players. Now, these could be people who are attacking your raider or corvette, or also bombers who are doing AI farming. That is going to be a huge deal in the initial morale flip, deciding who gets to attack first. If you can knock some bombers out of the initial dogfight, not only are you getting those 10 morale points for your own team, but you're also preventing them from being able to harvest 10 to 15 points at a time from your AI packs. Those farmers are extremely powerful, especially in the first dogfight, so they should not be ignored. After that, you can maybe look for some fighters that are targeting your corvette or raider like I suggested, or you can try to target interceptors that might be trying to target your own fighters and objective players. However, these are the easiest guys to get distracted by. And that's partially what an interceptor's job is, to distract players from getting kills. If you can draw 2, 3, 4 guns on yourself instead of targeting your objective players, that means those objective players get to do their job. So, if you see a better target of opportunity, instead of targeting at interceptor, chasing them forever, switch to a different target. In fact, you should make it a rule of thumb to not stare at any one target for more than a few seconds at a time, because you're very likely to be getting a tail yourself, and these ships die very fast. Now, once your team is on the offense, you should be looking out for small targets for you to take care of. Like in this case, I have a support player on the enemy team who's dropping turrets. I also have another player who's been dropping a ton of mines. So in particular, I'm looking to shoot those out of the sky to aid my objective players in doing their job and prevent those other players from making effective use of their components. I'm also trying to be intelligent about the use of my own systems. Like, I'm trying to trade off uses of my repair kit and my stealth kit. They are infinite use, but they do take 30 seconds to charge in between every charge. So you do need to be very careful of overstaying your welcome. As an easy to kill interceptor, survival should be at the forefront of your thoughts, so don't be afraid to fall back and resupply instead of trying to extend your kill streak. Now when you're on defense, interceptors are really effective at preventing damage by shooting down torpedoes. Watch that fighter on their approach, wait for them to fire their torpedo, and then shoot that thing out of the sky. Then immediately, you're right behind them and able to knock them out of the sky as well, preventing thousands of damage on your own objectives while getting morale for your team at the same time. Even if you don't get the kill, the most important thing is that you shoot the torpedoes out of the sky and prevent the damage from happening. That's going to be the biggest detriment to the enemy team, is seeing all of their attack phase wasted with no actual results coming from it. The targeting jammer can also be really effective here on defense, allowing you to beam down on attacking bombers without the fear of having an enemy interceptor jump on your tail. But what happens if you scare all the enemies away from your defensive line? Well, you might need to go hop on some AI farming, especially if you're in solo queue and you don't have somebody else on your team that's fulfilling that role. Remember, AI is worth 3 points each, and so taking down a squad of 5, which is pretty easy to do in an interceptor, is worth 15 points. And if you don't have any enemies in range, it's definitely well worth your time to seek out a few of those AI fighters, AI packs, take them out, and get the flip happening so you can get back onto the offense. Now, all of this generally applies as much to the A-Wing as much as it did to the TIE Interceptor, with a few extra exceptions. The fact that you do want to focus on your shields as your source of healing. You don't really want to be trying to let anybody break your shields and get through to your hull. And if you do, you want to try and return to base and get that resupply on. However, that one difference aside, the main philosophy of intercepting remains the same. You're trying to first focus on enemy objective players, prevent them from doing their job, and then focus second on interceptors and try to keep them off your objective players' tails. Now, there is a tactic that the A-Wing can pull off a little bit more easily than its Imperial counterpart, and that's a good old-fashioned joust. The shielding gives you that extra health pool you need. You can use it on someone who's chasing you. If you notice there's somebody on your tail and they won't go away, you can flip a 180 with a dead drift and then hit your targeting jammer, and you will completely disappear off their scopes, allowing you free reign to dump your lasers into them. And if it's an interceptor chasing you, you will oftentimes be able to destroy them with that one pass. Even better, if you can see someone trying to just straight on joust you, take that joust, use your targeting jammer, and give them a really bad day. It can be extremely fun and satisfying to fly the interceptors in Star Wars Squadrons, but it must be said, interceptors do not win fleet battles. And if you're not flying with a well-coordinated team who's able to actually destroy the objective, then you might need to consider switching your role, at least for a phase or two. For example here, this is one of the games I was playing to gather footage for this video. I was playing as an interceptor and doing my job, but my team was not able to do a lick of damage to the MC-75 in its entire attack phase. So the next attack phase, I had to do the job for my team. I switched into my objective damaging loadout and I went to work. So this sometimes is the solution that you have to do as a solo queue player. But if you have a well-coordinated team, then you can generally stay in an interceptor the entire match. And sometimes you're lucky enough to matchmake with a group of players who are actually doing their job effectively, able to get in there and destroy the objectives. But if you're not, then consider for at least one phase flipping to something that can destroy the objective a little bit and helping your team out. Just at least to get maybe those shields down, get that power system down, and make the next phase a whole lot easier for you. Then you can flip back into your interceptor for defense. You can get right back to doing the job you have been doing up until that point. Now this definitely isn't ideal, and hopefully you'll have somebody helping you deal effective damage to the objective, but anybody who's played solo queue knows that sometimes when there's something needs doing and nobody else is doing it, you gotta do it yourself. So don't be afraid to switch out for an objective dealing loadout for just a phase in order to get that damage done and get your team across the finish line. And if you guys want some more tips and tricks, inspiration on how to be a better interceptor, I highly recommend checking out these videos from Scalp Walker. I was definitely inspired by watching him play and getting tips and tricks from him. I hope to see you guys in my own next video. In the meantime, I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre, and I'm out.